A warm welcome to the special Gyan series team meeting presentation and the Chennai launch of Don't Flirt with Rural Marketing, the Handbook of Rural Marketing by Mr. R.V. Rajan, founder and former chairman, Anugrah Madison Advertising, and chairman, Anugrah Rural Marketing Academy. A warm welcome to our guests of honor, Mr. N. Murli, co-chairman, Kasturi and Sons, and Mr. Srinivasan K. Swami, Chairman and Managing Director, R.K. Swami BBDO. May I now call on Mr. Karthik Murthy, President, Advertising Club Madras, to deliver the welcome address.
Good evening, friends. I'm Karthik, President at Club Madras. A warm welcome to this Gyan series team meeting lecture, coupled with the Chennai launch of a book, which I'm sure will be a great resource and which we will all find useful. Our team meetings are sponsored by the Hindu. We are very grateful for their unstinted support to us over the years. Today we have a speaker whom we all love and respect, Mr. R.V. Rajan, founder and former managing director of Anugrah Madison Advertising Private Limited. He is also a past president of Advertising Club Madras, a predecessor we all look up to. We are so glad that he has chosen to be with us today and address us. I also welcome the guest of honor, Mr. N. Murli, co-chairman, Kasturi and Sons Limited, and Mr. Srinivasan K. Swami, chairman and managing director, R.K. Swami BBDO. They have indeed honored us, all of us, by their participation. Thank you so much for your presence here today. We request our members to connect with us and be part of the various events that we conduct throughout the year. Thank you again and enjoy yourself.
Thank you so much, Karthik. We would now like to honor our three guests. May I request Mr. Skandaraj, Secretary AdClub Madras, to present a bouquet to Mr. R.V. Rajan. I request Mr. K. Srinivasan, past president at Club Madras, K. Srinivasan, past president at Club Madras, to present a bouquet to Mr. N. Murali. May I request Mr. Kalidas, past president at Club Madras, to present a bouquet to Mr. Srinivasan K. Swami. Thank you so much, gentlemen. May I now request Mr. Vijay Xavier, past president at Club Madras, to introduce the speaker for today, Mr. R.V. Rajan.
Good evening. Dignitaries of the evening, guests of honor, fellow members of the Advertising Club Madras, and the advertising fraternity, friends, ladies and gentlemen, it's my proud privilege and honor to formally introduce a long-time friend of mine and this evening's hero, Mr. R.V. Rajan, as part of the proceedings, as I'm sure most of you don't need an introduction of R.V. Rajan. R.V. Rajan is a founder and former chairman of Anugrah Madison Advertising, the rural division of Madison Communications. He is currently the chairman of Anugrah Rural Marketing Academy. Armed with a BCom honors from Bombay University, Mr. Rajan started his advertising career in 1964 with Clarion Advertising Mumbai and later shifted to Grant Advertising, where he was a senior vice president based in Chennai. In 1986, he started Anugrah Marketing and Advertising Services as a full-fledged advertising agency which entered into a joint venture with Madison in 1998 to form Anugrah Madison, the rural division of Madison Communications, Mumbai. In the 43 years, please note, 75% of the people here wouldn't have been born when he started advertising. That he was in advertising, he's been associated with rural marketing and communication for over 35 years. His active involvement in promoting the cause of rural marketing led to his becoming the founder president of the Rural Marketing Association of India, in which position he continued for 4 consecutive years. A past president of the Rotary Club of Madras South, he was actively involved in other voluntary organizations like Roundtable India, as well as professional bodies like Asian Marketing and Research Center, VAN, IFRA, Public Relations Society of India, Advertising Agencies Association of India, and Advertising Club Madras. During his tenure as president of AdClub Madras between 1993 and 95, the permanent secretariat of the club was established at their own premises, and the PG Diploma program in Advertising Management commenced, which has been running successfully now for the last 19 years. Convert every challenge into an opportunity is Rajan's driving principle. It has led to success on many fronts and generous recognition. To name a few, the Roundtable India's Distinguished Service Award in 1984, the Outstanding Service Award from VAN IFRA, a newspaper publishing industry body, in 2009, and a Lifetime Achievement Award from Rural Marketing Association in 2009. Since the publication of his autobiography titled Courage, My Companion in 2009, Rajan has taken to writing regularly on a variety of topics for Chennai-based periodicals and for his own blog. His experiences and ideas now translate into lectures at management institutes and articles in business magazines, and now this landmark book. Welcome, Raj.
Thank you, Mr. Vijay Xavier. Let's welcome Mr. R.V. Rajan to make his presentation. Please, let's give him a big hand. You can use this to go to the next slide. Yeah, okay. Yeah.
It's like coming back home. I'm glad to see a number of my old friends here. A good get-together of a lot of past presidents. Special thanks to Mr. Murali and Srinivasan K. Swami. The organizations to which they belong have been a great support to AdClub Madras. I remember when the Secretariat was established, first set of sponsorships we got from R.K. Swami and Hindu. And if you're all occupying that beautiful office space, I think we must owe a lot of gratitude to these two gentlemen. Thank you, sir, for gracing this occasion and honoring us. Well, the topic of the meeting is don't flirt with rural marketing. In fact, a lot of people have been provoked by this topic, and people have been asking me also, you've been a city boy, how did you get into rural marketing? Let me explain to you. As he mentioned to you, I was not born in Bombay. I was born in a village near Pudukkottai, but brought up in Bombay. I had my schooling, my college. I did my PG diploma in advertising from Bharati Vidya Bhavan 62-64. In fact, I have my colleague S.R. Madhu here, who did a course with me. He was a gold medalist in journalism at the time, and I joined advertising business. Well, anyway, the first 10 years of my advertising line, when I was in Clarion and then Grant, I was only handling FMCG clients. I had handled Colgate-Palmolive, Jeffrey Manners, Coca-Cola, Nestle's, ITC, name them, I have handled them. But to the process of life, I landed in Madras, and I found there hardly any FMCG clients to handle. So the first client I got was Shawwala's Agri Department. I got the fertilizer account. And even before that, I had some brush with rural marketing, rural communication, with a campaign we did for CARE organization, Cooperatives for American Everywhere, on nutrition education, followed by a campaign we did for Madras Fertilizers, which got us the account away from JWT to ACIL at that time. So that experience helped me get Shawwala's account. I didn't want to say that because you'll argue. In fact, that was, no, actually, R.K. Swami got the other brands. I got fertilizers. Both of us were handling the account at that point of time. Anyway, one thing led to the other. I started getting all agri-input clients like, fertilizers, agrochemicals, seeds. The biggest acquisition was MRF Farm Tire Division, bullock cart tires and tractor tires, on which one did a number of experiments, and I got a lot of, recognition for the effort that I put in there. And it was 1997, 86 I started my agency. All my clients walked in with me. 96, 97, Philips walked in with their business to do rural marketing in Tamil Nadu. Until then, my agency was only dealing with the farmers. It was the first time that one was dealing with the entire gamut of rural audiences, young and old, poor and rich, everybody. that opened up that case study, Englewood to Superstar, Phillips, got us a lot of write-up in magazines, in many case studies and books and all that. And that brought Sam Balsara to my doorstep, and we entered into a joint venture. It was his idea. Until then, frankly, I was happy being a general advertising man, also specializing in rural marketing. He is a man who forced me to become a rural marketing specialist, in which capacity we continued for last so many years. And that's the story of a city boy becoming a rural specialist. Now let me come to the topic of the evening. Why the title, Don't Flirt with Rural Marketing? The handbook of rural marketing. In fact, all of you know that rural marketing is booming. In fact, that's something which is being talked about. As our friend Vishnodi mentioned Bombay launch. Companies have been talking about rural marketing big, going big, next decade, next 3 decades have passed by, people still talking like that. But the fact is, rural markets are booming, estimated at US dollar 425 billion. Anybody who can translate it into rupees, crores of rupees. The middle class in rural India with aspirations and greater purchasing power is growing. As you know, today, the sons and daughters of farmers are not getting into farming. They're all getting educated, they're getting into white-collar jobs, and they are bringing an assured income to the household. Farmers who are only totally dependent on the annual income are now getting regular monthly income. That can be seen to the kind of purchasing power these guys have, and that's what corporates are aiming at. And if you look at all the companies, more than 50% of sales of all types of products are from rural India. And naturally, every corporate is wanting to grow rural, and number of them has grown phenomenally in the recent years. But what do they do? Do they go about it scientifically? No. They all want to get quick results. When they're doing urban advertising, urban marketing, they have all the patience in the world to do research, position it properly, everything they do in the right way. When it comes to rural marketing, they don't want to spend money on developing a sound rural strategy. They don't have a long-term vision. Think that by taking an audiovisual van, video on wheels as it's called sometimes, around selected villages to promote their brand is rural marketing. They conduct a pilot campaign in one taluk. I have seen these bright young boys calling us brand managers, telling us, we are ready to go rural. Please come up with a campaign which we would like to launch as a pilot in one taluk, in one district, in one state, and then we roll it out nationally, which is absolutely unrealistic and foolish. It doesn't operate that way. One district, one state doesn't represent the whole country. No thought is given to the right communication required for reaching rural audiences. Like, for instance, they tell us, we have got a spot which has been produced for the urban audience. It's running in the satellite channels. Why don't you dub it in local language and release it? We don't have budget, special budget. So what happens is, you have got the incongruity of a Sardarji speaking Hindi for the original spot, talking in Tamil, chase Tamil, in the spots released in Tamil Nadu. That kind of a thing happened, which is not done. So I call that flirting with rural marketing. All these guys are not really serious about it. They're only flirting with rural marketing. And that's the reason the title of the book, Don't Flirt with Rural Marketing. Well, one is to sit back and complain, grumble about it, but I have always been a proactive man. Whenever I'm in a situation when there's a problem with the organization or wherever I am, I would like to think what I can do for it. So I said, I've seen the evolution of rural markets for the last 35 years. Initially, it was all agri-input products. Today, almost every product category is being launched in rural India. So I decided to share the experience of myself, my team, for the last 35 years in the form of a book. The result is for all of you to see, Don't Flirt with Rural Marketing, the handbook of rural marketing. In fact, my original title was Don't Flirt with Rural Marketing, a practical guide to a happy marriage with rural marketing. But my publisher, Mr. Srinivas Murthy, is here in the audience. He said that's not a good idea. Call it the handbook of rural marketing. That will sell better. So anyway, at least the main title is provocative enough for people to have a second look at the book. This book contains a 14-step approach to rural marketing, literally a practical guide. And there are also 2 standalone chapters, a role of technology in rural marketing. As you know, technology is making tremendous strides. And what mobile has done to the way we communicate with rural India is something which you have to see to believe it. Amazing. In the process, the middlemen are getting, eliminated. The middlemen who exploited the rural folks for generations are today almost getting eliminated, if not already eliminated. Again, another thing that we could learn, lessons from the regional brands. Many success stories. Nirma, old Nirma case study, Kevin Kern, recent times, Gadi, detergent brand. So many brands are there which are giving run for money to the multinational companies. Now, this 14-step approach, what does it have? Commitment from the top management is very important. Setting clear objectives, choosing the right product. You may have, a battery of products, battery of models. You have to decide which model at which price will suit the rural market. That's one of the important criterion you must consider. Understanding the mindset of the consumer, which is what most of the corporates don't want to do. This is where we are having a running battle with the clients. Getting a dedicated task force, a separate rural vertical is important. Ensuring availability. Distribution is considered to be a nightmare in rural India. I'll come to that later, my points of view on that. Appointing a rural specialist agency. All of you are experts. Anybody can do today with computer, PowerPoint, and Photoshop and all that. Anybody can design a layout. That's what's happening. Today, our own clients are our competitors. Agreed, Sundar? Anything anybody can do. So we are not required. Even films. The other day, a friend of mine came to me. I want to do an audiovisual. How much it will cost and all that. I was trying to help him. Suddenly he tells me, no, I have done the job myself. I got my bright young boy who is very good computer savvy. With his help, I have done the audiovisual presentation. So that kind of a competition we have. And evolving a comprehensive communication, media delivery strategy. Okay, we developed a good communication package. Unless it is delivered to the right media, to the right audience, it doesn't work. BTL, below the line activities. Above the line, all mass media. Below the line, all road shows. Today it's called activation or experiential marketing. These are all the new buzzwords in the rural marketing world. AV van operation, even today, it's one of the most effective mediums. Becomes almost integral part of any rural campaigns. Foolproof implementation plan. You see, when clients come to us, today they think of an idea going rural, tomorrow they want the campaign, and day after tomorrow they want to implement it. Without realizing, a rural campaign involving road shows involves so many people, so many imponderables. Unless you do a thorough, meticulous plan and go about it systematically, it's very difficult to implement it. Also providing adequate budget. Just relegating to regional budgets doesn't help. And constantly evaluating the results so that you can keep on improving the strategy. Well, I'm not going to go into every chapter. I'll just take 4 or 5 highlights. As I said, commitment from top management. It's very important. Not allow middle-level managers. What happens is company talks about going rural. Channel will make a statement, and you will find all the media covering. So-and-so company is going rural. 6 months down the line, you will find that whole thing has been hijacked by the manager who is in charge of the brand. He has to meet his quarterly results, So he said, rural marketing is not giving me quick results. Let me do some schemes in cities. And that's it. That's the end of the rural initiative of the company. HUC, Hindustan Unilever Limited, ITC, are the oldest examples of corporates who are committed to rural marketing right from the word go. Look at their results, See, more 60% of sales of Hindustan Lever comes from rural India. In fact, today, their distribution network has reached up to 2,000. They are looking at last mile connectivity below 2,000 in terms of Project Shakti and Project Shaktiman and things like that. Apart from that, in the recent times, we have a whole set of mobile handset service providers, automobile, consumer durable companies are all attempting to have separate verticals, but many of them are still sitting on the borderline. The most outstanding example in recent times I will put as LG Electronics, which I remember about 25 years ago when they came to the country, came into the market, they approached us. They told us they want to go rural. According to them, rural was 5 lakh towns and below. Because their distribution was going up to 5 lakh towns. They want to go below that, and they called it rural. I always say, for any company, going rural means up to towns where they are already, reaching, below that is their rural, So, LG Electronics realized the importance of this market. They were the first people to come out with LG Sampurna TV, for both urban and rural with special pricing and all that. And today, they have a separate vertical for rural with totally different set of, officers, managers, service centers, and separate budget. In white goods sector, they're already number 1. And rural India contributes the major share of that success story. The next thing is choosing the right product. Identifying the right product from the basket of models for rural marketing is important, as I mentioned earlier. Customizing existing products to suit rural markets, very important. Not everybody can afford to do it, but if you do it, if you're sure about your market, you do that and you reap rich rewards. Don't forget the rural folks not necessarily go for cheap products. They look for value for money and not just cheap products. As I mentioned to Sampurna TV, Chotu Cool refrigerator from Godrej. It's not electrically operated, based on traditional technology, very successful. Tata Ace from Tata Motors. I mean, a whole lot of examples I can give you. Well, understanding the mindset of rural consumers, which as I said earlier, is a very important thing. Not many people are giving enough thought to it. It varies from state to state, region to region. I always quote the example of my association with MR of bullock cart tires, where UP was a big market. If you go to UP, Western UP is a prosperous belt. You just got Punjabi jat farmers, well-to-do, handsome, well-dressed, rich. You go to Eastern UP, poor fellows, dark, short, not well-dressed. They speak Bhojpuri in Eastern UP, they speak Hindustani in Western UP. So these are two different, same state but two different regions with two different characteristics. If you go to every state, you will find similar difference in characteristic. So that needs a qualitative study for each product category, brand, region specific. Unless you do this, you will not understand the mindset of the rural consumers for your particular brand or product. Rural distribution, according to me, is not a nightmare it's being made out to be. In my book, I mentioned that. You see, you don't have to reach all the 6 lakh villages. If you find Hindustan Levers brands are available in the smallest of small village, a sachet pack is available. Click, famous brands of that is available there. How is it available? Not because Hindustan Lever is reaching the brand to that village. Because the mass media exposure they give to the audience, the demand is generated. The local traders go to the nearest feeder markets and get the product for supply to their local customers. Which means, for FMCG brands, if you reach feeder markets with population of 15,000, you're done, taken the first step of going to the rural market. In the case of durables, if you reach population data up to 50,000, you reach taken the first step initiative of going rural. Now, very interesting. People consider having separate exclusive showrooms in small areas. Please don't do that. Because these guys like to go to the nearest city, nearest big town, so that they have a choice of shops, choice of brands, choice of guarantee, choice of offers before they make up. They don't mind carrying the damn thing back all the way, 2 hours traveling back to their village. That's what they do. Developing a focused communication strategy. Well, it's a very difficult thing to have must be in the language in which a rural consumer can understand. So there are ways and means of doing this, which I have explained in my book, how to go about adapting to suit the local, idiom, the local languages. Tricky, clever, gimmicky, and even suggestive type of advertising does not work. I always quote in my class, Mani Ratnam type of editing doesn't work here. That is jump cuts. You are supposed to imagine what happens in between. That kind of a communication doesn't work with rural folks. Slice of approach always works. Using of symbol, colors help. Combining education with entertainment, edutainment or infotainment we call it. It's a good idea to try out. Of course, whatever you do, if you're going to address both urban and rural, better to pre-test your concepts and create these before they are finalized. Another important thing is television does not distinguish between urban and rural. All of you know that. So if you're targeting, my new theory is this, if you're an FMCG brand and you know that particular brand is going to be appealing to both urban and rural, and you know that television is a vital medium for you, you ensure that the spot that you develop is appealing to both urban and rural. It is not so basic that urban audience gets put off, and it's not so suggestive that rural audience doesn't understand that via media. If you take many of the Colgate dental cream spots, they address this issue. Many of the Hindustan Lever brands, which are aimed at the rural market and urban market, address this issue. So you develop a spot, put on TV, which addresses both urban and rural audience. It works. But in the case of durables, high-end products, high-priced products, these guys always take a group decision. It's always community decision. It's not a one-man decision. They always consult. And they always consult the local opinion leaders. And today, the educated village youth, the guys who go to the nearest town or city to study, go to the nearest town or city to do work, they are considered the part of the opinion leader group for any kind of lifestyle products. While urban-oriented TVC may register with opinion leaders and the top and help create awareness or impact down the line, below the line activities becomes very, very important, which provide for demonstration and touch and feel of the product. You know, these guys, unless they are convinced with the demonstration, touch and feel, they are not in a hurry to buy the product. So need for below the line, before that I would like to, Need for below the line activities or experiential marketing which account for 75% of the rural communication efforts. Today, activation is the name of the game if you take any kind of rural marketing efforts, and I have devoted a whole chapter on that, given you detailed practical steps how to go about it. Important to have an integrated campaign covering both mass media and below the line activities, and have a national creative strategy, but think and act local while implementing it. Now, whatever people may say, urban-rural divide still exists. Maybe in places like developed states like Tamil Nadu, or parts of Andhra, Karnataka, or Punjab and all that, you're able to use mass media to reach people down the line. But a whole lot of states, even today, the difference exists. Okay. Now, I would like to show you 2 spots here, developed for not my agency. We only did the activation program for them, but we were given these 2 spots, which I used as an example. Sonata Urban, which is what they featured in the satellite TV for mass urban market, followed by a 3-minute telefilm for use in the road shows, which is typical rural-based idea.
சூரிய உதயத்தின் முன்னே ரெண்டு ஒளிக்கதிர் முன்னே கோழியின் 2 முட்டைகள் முன்னே பாதையில் 2 மயில்கள் முன்னே உழைப்பில் 2 படிகள் முன்னே நேரத்தில் 2 நொடிகள் முன்னே காதலில் 2 கணங்கள் முன்னே எதிர்பார்ப்பிலே 2 கனவுகள்
சொனாட்டா காலத்தை விட 2 அடி முன்னே.
That is urban spot for satellite TV. Now you'll see what was used in the road shows and rural cinemas. Light up on it.
சோழன் எக்ஸ்பிரஸ் வந்தாச்சு. அப்ப மணி 8. டீ குடிக்கலாம். மணி 9 ஆச்சுடா. செல்வத்தை ஸ்கூல்ல விடணும்டா. என்ன வேலு, சௌக்கியமா? நல்லா இருக்கேன். மண்ணுல விளையாடாத, ட்ரெஸ் அழுக்காயிடும். கிரிக்கெட் வேண்டாம்ப்பா, டாக்டர் ஆகணும். வா. டாடா. முத்தமா போனியா? ஆமா வேலு. போஸ்ட்மேன். மணி 4 ஆயிடுச்சு. ஸ்கூல் விட்டுறோம். டாக்டர் வி செல்வகுமார் என் பையன்.
இன்றைய தலைப்புச் செய்திகள். இந்தியாவுக்கு
சாப்பிட வரலாமா?
வரலாம்.
தம்பி ஒரு டீ போடுப்பா. என்ன வேலு கிளம்பலையா?
9 மணி பஸ் வரலையா? என்ன
அந்த பஸ் பாலத்து மேல நின்னு போச்சு.
ஐயோ பையனுக்கு எக்ஸாம்டா.
சீக்கிரம் வாங்க. பையனுக்கு இன்னைக்கு பரீட்சை. எப்ப பார்த்தாலும்
கேரம் இல்ல, பஸ் வரல.
எனக்கு தெரியும், போங்க. என் தலையை எழுத்து.
சீக்கிரம். செல்வா டாடா.
இதான் பரீட்சைக்கு வர நேரமா? சாரி டீச்சர். போல.
டீச்சர் பஸ் பிரேக் டவுன் ஆகி
சென்னை சிட்டில வசிக்கலாம், மும்பை சிட்டில வசிக்கலாம், எலக்ட்ரிசிட்டில வசிக்க முடியுமா? சூப்பர் ஜோக்கு. என்ன வேலு?
என்னையா பஸ் இது? நேரத்துக்கு ஏன் வரல? என் பையன் படிச்சு கெட்டு போச்சு.
இது வாட்ச் இல்ல, பஸ்.
ஏன் வேலு?
இது வாட்ச் இல்ல, பஸ்.
குழந்தைகள் உங்கள் வருங்காலம். அவர்களின் வளமை உங்கள் கைகளில். நல்ல வாட்ச், விலையும் அதிகம் இல்ல.
ஆமா சார்.
ஓ வேலுவா, மணி 4, வீட்டுக்கு போலாம்.
தாத்தா, என் பையன் பிரைஸ் வாங்கியிருக்கான்.
வளமைக்கு ஆதாரம் சொனாட்டா கடிகாரம், டாடா தயாரிப்பு.
Okay. Okay. So, as I mentioned to you, the book contains elaborate chapter giving practical aid to all types of road shows under the below the line activities chapter. Sorry. Need for foolproof implementation plan, constant evaluation of results in terms of brand awareness, brand conversion, increase in sales. All these are continuous process about which I have mentioned the book. Well, to conclude, rural marketing is a marriage which to be successful needs sustained efforts and long-term commitment. If it's treated as a flirtation or a one-night stand, the results reaped will be temporary and unsustainable. So the book is published by Productivity and Quality Publishing Private Limited. Mr. Srinivas Murthy is here. It is a slim book, 130 pages with a DVD, priced at 395 rupees. Unfortunately, the book is not to be sold here, but there will be a card being distributed to all of you. You can get to know where it's available. I'm told it will be available at all the important bookshops in the city. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Rajan, for the wonderful presentation. I'm sure all of us enjoyed it. We would normally have a Q&A session, but in the interest of time today, as we have a book launch to follow, may I request you to direct your questions to Mr. Rajan after the presentation offline. Thank you. May I now request Mr. Vijay Xavier to introduce Mr. Murli.
Ladies and gentlemen, I'm here again honored to introduce Mr. N. Murli, the doyen of newspaper, media and advertising industry. On a personal note, as past president of the Advertising Club, on behalf of the club, sir, we express our grateful thanks to you for being the most benevolent well-wisher and mentor of this club for decades and guiding it to the eminent position. Thank you, sir. Mr. N. Murli is the co-chairman of Kasturi & Sons Limited. Born in Chennai on 11th August 1946, he completed his school education in Madras Christian College High School, graduated in commerce from Loyola College, and later professionally qualified as a chartered accountant. He joined the family business of the Hindu in 1969, became general manager in 1977, and joint managing director in 1995. In 2006, he became the managing director of the Hindu and Kasturi & Sons Limited, publishers of the Hindu and other allied publications. He is closely associated with several organizations in the advertising, newspaper, and media industry bodies, as well as music. To name a few, he was president of the Indian Newspaper Society, INS, during 1983-84, was chairman, Council of Management, ABC, Audit Bureau of Circulations, during 1996 and 97, was chairman, National Readership Studies Council, from 1998 to 2000, Chairman Board of Governors, Advertising Standards Council of India, ASCI, 2003-2004, was the first board member of the South Asia of IFRA, Darmstadt, Germany, world's leading association for media publishing from 1998 to 2004. Was member of the board of World Association of Newspapers, Paris, 2005-06. was Chairman Board of Trustees of Press Institute of India from May 2003 till September 2010. He was conferred the Distinguished Service Award by the Advertising Club Madras in 1995 for his contribution to advertising. Apart from the industry bodies, Mr. Murli has also held office as the President, Tamil Nadu Tennis Association from 1994 to 96. He was Trustee, Media Development Foundation, Chennai, 2000 to 2010. He is a member of the Board of Governors of Tyagaraja School of Management, affiliated to Madurai Kamaraj University. He was a trustee of the Music Academy Madras up to November 6, 2005, and is currently the president of the Music Academy Madras since then. Thank you, sir.
Thank you, Mr. Vijay Xavier. I request Mr. R. Seshadri, past president AdClub Madras, to introduce Mr. Srinivasan Swamy.
Good evening, ladies and gentlemen. It's my pleasure to introduce another illustrious past president of the Advertising Club Madras, Mr. Srinivasan K. Swamy. Mr. Srinivasan K. Swamy, as you all know, is the chairman of R.K. Swamy Hansa Group. The group companies include R.K. Swamy BBDO, Hansa Vision, Hansa Research, Hansa Customer Equity, Hansa Estates, and Hansa Pizzeria in India, and Hansa GCR and Hansa Marketing Services in the USA. These companies cover business interests in advertising, marketing services, social and rural sector communication, healthcare communication, market research, advanced marketing analytics, interactive design and search engine marketing, public relations, continuing medical education, real estate development, and a restaurant chain. Truly a mind-boggling diversity of businesses that he's heading. Mr. Swamy currently is the immediate past chairman of Confederation of Asian Advertising Agency Associations. He was president of Advertising Agencies Association of India, 3ASOI as it's called, for 3 consecutive terms from 2004 to 2007, and continues to take an active interest in the association as an executive committee member. Currently, he serves as the president of the India chapter of International Advertising Association and serves on the global board as vice president development for Asia Pacific. He is also a council member of Asian Federation of Advertising Associations, Advertising Standards Council of India, ASCI as it's called, and Audit Bureau of Circulations. He serves on the board of Indian Institute of Management, Trichy. He's a past president of All India Management Association in 2008-9. He's also the past president of the Madras Chamber of Commerce and Industry in the years 2008 to 10, Madras Management Association from 2001-2, and the Advertising Club Madras 1988-89. It's just been 25 years since he has been the Advertising Club past president. Mr. Swamy, as president, is actively involved in running the 220-bed multidiscipline Hindu Mission Hospital at Chennai, catering to the urban poor and the surrounding rural areas. Further, as chairman of Valluvar Gurukulam School Society, he is active in running a school for 2,000 poor students, primarily girls whose parents have not entered the portals of any school. He is the chairman of Vidyadhanam and Annadanam Trust, a Vedic Patashala of Sri Ahobila Math. He is also a trustee in the Consumers Association of India and Concert. He is actively involved in many other educational, social, and religious institutions. For lack of time, we will not get into all those details now. He is a B.Tech degree, chemical engineer, and an MBA degree and has an MBA degree from Jamnalal Bajaj Institute of Management. He is married and has a daughter and a son. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Seshadri. Let's move on to the Chennai launch of the Handbook of Rural Marketing. May I invite Mr. N. Murli and Mr. Srinivasan Swamy to please come up. Mr. N. Murli will release the book, and Mr. Srinivasan Swamy will receive the first copy of the book. Yeah, I've got it. I also request Mr. Rajan, Mr. Karthik, and Mr. Skandaraj to please come up. Let's give them a big applause as they unveil this labor of love. No, I'm good. Just taking photographs and. Thank you so much, gentlemen, for this wonderful. I now have the honor to request Mr. N. Murali, Co-Chairman, Kasturi and Sons Limited, to deliver a special address.
Friends, it is great to be back to the Advertising Club and to be among friends, many of whom I'm very close to or have been over the years, known them well. And so, in a way, like Rajan said, it's also homecoming for me. But this time, the homecoming has been necessitated by R.V. Rajan, who incidentally also was earlier responsible for my involvement with the Advertising Club. I claim to be no past president of the Advertising Club like Sundar or many of you here. But I got involved in the Advertising Club mainly through the persuasion of Rajan, who was just the past president then in those years. Involving myself with, and also both, in fact, Rajan was instrumental in both Mani Iyer and me coming into having a brush with the Advertising Club. We were actively involved in organizing conventions which were not known those days, like Advertising's Future Shock and so on. 2 or 3 conventions, after that some issues. And also the Advertising Club. I've been the beneficiary of the Advertising Club, as you knew earlier. Though not any of its office bearer, I happened to receive an award from the Advertising Club following the footsteps of the great legend of advertising, Mr. R.K. Swamy. So that is one claim to fame, if I can say so, and my proximity to the Advertising Club. At a time when, frankly, I've actively retired from active professional life and have been enjoying Ashes cricket matches, Grand Slam tennis tournament, and of course being totally involved with the Music Academy. Mr. Rajan has made me read this book after so I thought no more of any heavy, serious subjects. But of course, this is not heavy because Rajan has a style which is unique. And secondly, I think Rajan considers me as a lucky mascot. I don't know, lucky or not. I've launched his earlier book, his first book, Courage, My Companion. And coincidentally, that was also published by Mr. Srinivasamurthy here. And the second book, I can't say no to my good friend. Rajan also has been closely associated with me in many other institutions like AMIC, for instance, Asia, whatever the expansion, I forget, AMIC, and then VAN IFRA, IFRA India. So one thing I found is he takes a lot of interest in building institutions and also developing teams. I know in IFRA India how he just picked an youngster from Times of India, was in advertising and now made him the CEO of IFRA India, or the managing director of IFRA India. So I know of Rajan's multifaceted qualities. So when this thing came, also it gives me an opportunity to be back. There are several new faces here, but I'm very happy that I see many familiar faces who have worked tirelessly for AdClub in the past and who have brought. And AdClub, I must say, has been one of the most active ad clubs in India. Of course, Bombay, nothing can match Bombay's size or the maybe even resources they generate or the money they get. But by far, AdClub Madras has been one of the most active. I don't know about it now, but I'm talking of the last so many years. So in a sense, it's been great for me to come here and to share the stage, or there's no stage, share the space here with, I'm glad there's no stage because I've had enough of stage functions day in and day out. So now to share this space with Sundar Swami, who is, I can't say he's the chip of the old block, because he has beaten the old block. Because I remember here that we, at a very pleasant function hosted by the AdClub in this very hall probably, or in this hotel surely, we all felicitated Sundar Swami on his being elected as the 3 years of chairman or president. That was his first term. Then itself, I felt he had already reached the pinnacle which his father had after so many years of toil and experience. But of course, I'm not saying that things come easy to the next generation, but he has worked his way. He has worked wherever he has been, whichever organization he has been involved with, he has been very sincere and dedicated, and therefore and also raised the profile of that organization. So it's no surprise that all that was read out about him is gone national, international, Asia, and so it's a happy coincidence that I'm sharing space here with him. Coming to Rajan's book, one is, as Rajan himself says, it is not, his attempt was not to write a textbook, because that will be heavy, long-winded, and also it's not, he doesn't want to pretend to be an academic. But what this book has done is, one is, actually I read through it. I happened to go to Hyderabad yesterday, so in the flight both up and down and also here today, I've read your book, but basically it is written in a very lucid manner, interesting manner. But what I'm also impressed with is your disciplined, structured approach. Normally, sometimes people mistake you for being not too disciplined and structured and systematic, but I can tell you, having worked with you in many organizations, that you're meticulous, you have an eye for detail, and you're always, you have a framework and a lot of clarity. So this book brings about all the qualities that epitomizes the qualities you possess. That is one, definitely. And as even Kurush Grant, who has written the foreword, has said, it is a must for all rural marketeers and others who aspire to be rural markets. And it's very interesting for a person like Kurush Grant, who is an ITC, which is now a big, and which has gone big in rural marketing through that e-Chaupal initiative, for him to say that suddenly corporate India took note of rural markets, and somebody like Rajan, who has spent his career almost, if his career was over 4 decades, at least a predominant part of it he has spent in rural marketing. But it's also interesting that this book shows how he stumbled into rural marketing. because he was, as he said, is a city boy, born in Mumbai, and then took to advertising and so on. But from advertising to from a city to advertising to rural marketing, it's more than happenstance. But what also struck me was the insights that he gives in this book, and his observations it is practical. He doesn't talk down from a pedestal, because others who have been in rural marketing like this for 30 or 35 years, like Rajan, would, I'm sure, be more arrogant, be more condescending. But Rajan is Rajan, he remains the same. But I never knew the depth and wealth of experience and knowledge that he has in rural marketing until I went through this book. Because we all knew him as a rural marketing specialist, because most of us are ignorant about rural marketing. Therefore, he was one of the earliest movers into this. And he took to rural marketing when nobody dared, not even the multinational companies dared to go into rural marketing. Now, of course, as Rajan's presentation showed, everybody is into rural marketing. At the age of 7, I think, he gives the incident of his going regularly from Mumbai to an uncle of his who was an assistant station master in a place called Rayala Cheruvu in Andhra Pradesh. So I think that was his first lesson as a kid in rural marketing, because he observed, he went on bullock carts, observed huts which were so he says the first hut he went to in that village is still green in his memory, and I think hundreds of huts which he has visited all over India in different regions and found cultural differences and so on. I think this has made a deep impression on him. That was his first lesson. Of course, it goes on to talk about his care, and then his other shawalers, his gaining Madras fertilizers, outbidding R.K. Swami, and so on. But I think what also comes across is his insights are deep and very clear. He gives a lot of emphasis on execution, because it's always easy to formulate a strategy, particularly a national strategy, but in the execution is what is also very important, and his 14-step approach is very clear-cut and systematic. And there, one or two of the points he made have struck me, like commitment from the top management. For instance, it is not enough for top management to just get a buy-in into the whole strategy, but the strategy for rural marketing has to be driven by the top management and not others, as he claims, because they want short-term results. Rural marketing is not magic. It involves one should not look for short-term benefits, short-term gains in that. It's a long haul. And of course, Rajan has traveled that long haul, handling many products and services across all categories, starting with agri inputs first, but then moving into FMCG and other products, even consumer electronics as LG. There are very interesting case studies in this. And also of interest to rural marketers is the list of support services and other agencies involved in either doing research and putting out data, or many others. So it is it's in a way a handbook of rural marketing, in spite of the seductive title, don't flirt with rural marketing, because as the name implies, it is a long-term relationship, long-term investment, and therefore the title is also appropriate. So, and I must also commend Rajan for he's not keeping quiet after formally stepping down from of course, he has handed over to his brother, and he has tied up with my another good friend, Sam Balsara. Anugrah Madison is now, I think, doing well in particularly, they are experts in rural marketing and they are leading. But he has become a prolific writer even after that on other subjects. So I'm delighted to have launched this book in Chennai under the auspices of the Advertising Club Chennai, with whom also I had a very close affinity, and particularly in the midst of so many friends. And I'm sure, and again, this is the third book of my good friend Srinivasamurthy's, which he has published, two of Rajan's and one of Ramanjam Sridhar that I've launched. So I don't know how the books are doing well, but if Rajan thinks I'm a happy or lucky mascot, so be it. Of course, I want the book to do well, and I'm sure all of us, if I was younger, I would have benefited from the book, but all of you, most of you would benefit from this book. And it's, as Sam Balsara and others have said in the book, the back, it's a must read for anybody who wants to do anything concerned with rural marketing. So once again, I thank the Advertising Club, the office bearers of the Advertising Club, for asking me to be part of this release function, extremely pleasant function, and thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Murli. It is now my privilege to invite Mr. Srinivasan K. Swami, Chairman and Managing Director, R.K. Swami BBDO, to deliver the felicitation address.
It's okay. Not tall enough for me, but I'm not going to lean back, lean forward. Okay, Karthik, past presidents, it's wonderful to be back at AdClub, where I was reminded some 25 years ago. Currently, I'm the president of IAA, and I do see a lot of similarity between IAA and advertising clubs across India. At IAA, we have membership drawn from marketers, media, and advertising agencies. Ad clubs also have similar constituency. After I took over IAA a little over a year ago, we've been on a relatively, what others call super active mode, but I would say relatively active mode. We have launched many new events. Some of them, I think, are relevant for our audience here. I'm going to talk about three of them, which, if Karthik and the committee feel appropriate, IAA and AdClub Madras can cooperate and do something in Chennai. We have a program called IAA Webinars, which is very easy to get our members to participate in. IAA Webinars is on World Goes Digital. We will have a speaker, a handpicked guy from any part of the globe, to be on a webinar talking about the advances that are taking place in the digital world. And it's on Google Hangout, so many people can participate. And if you have questions, you can also put them, and those questions will be addressed by the speaker. Some of those questions has been mailed in advance because there is some restriction on how many people can be on live chat with the speaker. So IA webinars, if you want to share your addresses, we'll be quite happy to send the invitation to all our members at Club. That's easy. Nothing is difficult. Web is wherever you have internet connection, you can get connected, and then you're ready to be part of it. The other program which I like to bring to Chennai is what we call IAA debates. We've had 6 debates so far, and it is a debate on a chosen marketing, advertising, media topic. And it's debated by not kiddos, but senior people like Mr. Murali, me, or whatever in the industry, for and against. The last debate was, I remember Subramanian Swami talking in favor of social media, and Suhail Seth talking against social media. I'm saying you should see the profile of the speakers. I'm saying every debate has high-profile speakers. We had, for example, Vikram Sakujas of the world, and one of course, your erstwhile CEO also was a speaker, one of those, so less profile for him compared to the most speakers that we have. But so IA debates is something we can have. We certainly would like to bring one to Chennai, and if AdClub wants to co-host that, we'd be happy to do that in Chennai. There's one more program that we're doing it's a new program. We're going to launch it this year. It's IAA Conversations. We have visiting dignitaries coming in from different parts of the globe, and when you have such a person coming to Chennai, we get him to be in conversation with another senior colleague in the industry. After probably he makes a 20 minutes, 30 minutes presentation, and get into conversation with him, get a new trend or new perspective on what he has spoken. These three are easy to implement if you want to be partnering with. But what we are going to do is we're going to certainly bring in a program, a seminar, which is very successful to Chennai, maybe in January, which is IAA seminar, what we call IAA Knowledge Seminar Series. So this knowledge seminar is going to be real estate in a digitized world. This will be a specific seminar talking to the real estate community, marketers, advertising agencies are involved in real estate. We want them to see how digital can be used to make significant progress in the business. Today, they use only print and outdoor predominantly, and not use the benefits of digital medium is quite inexpensive and quite interactive. It's not to say that they will ignore print or outdoor, whatever they're doing, they continue to do, but they can probably get better traction if they also use interactivity. So that's some program we're going to bring. If AdClub is interested, we're going to probably do this in association with CREDI. If you want to be partnering with us, we can talk about that too. Enough of marketing IAA. Let me say that, I have read the book too. I have read the book when Ms. Rajan came to my office maybe 2 months ago, 1.5 months ago. I gave the book and I finished that first read over that weekend itself. And I found that, and of course, before coming here, I looked at the book so that I can refresh my memory. It was quite some time back since I read that. I also looked at the videos that were sent at the time. The book incidentally has a CD, which I don't think Rajan mentioned. There are some excellent case studies, good video, visual. Of course, it's a rural marketing visual, therefore you will find that little dated, because some of the videos are dated, but still the content is very worthy of being seen and understanding how the whole thing panned out. So what I liked about the book is the breezy style. It was, Rajan has matured as a writer. That's something that comes through very clearly. From the first book to second book, there is a big jump in his style. That was evident. I've read the first book, his biography, and I read this second book. And of course, he keeps forwarding me to his articles, which sometimes I read, sometimes I don't, because depending on what time it hits my inbox. If I have the time, I look at it. But I can tell you this book that is written is easy to understand. Even a child would quickly grasp the nuance of what he has gone through the last 40 years. I don't see 35 years as he's saying this, whatever was read out and what Modi is saying, because he has given evidence that he started in 1972, which is kind of 40 years ago, where he walked the streets, different states, to understand the rural nutrition issues at that time. It's been a long journey, and it's been a long journey, at least as per the book, in 3 different agencies. He was in ACIL at that time, where he bonded with Tara Sinha. Then, of course, he was on Grant, where he was bonding with Tikku Ganguly, who subsequently joined us for a little while. Poor fellow died after that. And, of course, last 25 years of his journey was with his own company. And once he completed Silver Jubilee, decided enough is enough and became retired chairman, or whatever they call chairman emeritus. But anyway, so I think Rajan as a writer has matured. And this book that he wrote, I think is a return gift to the industry. Having spent 40 years of his life in rural marketing, this is his small little gift to the industry when he withdraws from the industry. In 175 pages, he has been able to provide in a simple, distilled form his experience. I actually thought initially, this man is a fool. Why is he sharing his secrets with competition? When then I realized, no, this man has got no competition. He's already walked away from the industry, and this maybe is a nice gift to give to the industry. And I think all of us should compliment him for sharing his wonderful experience on rural marketing. And one thought did cross my mind, and this is a thought that Rajan used for my father. He used to call my father Bhisha Pitama of advertising. It is not an overstatement to return the compliment to Rajan and calling him Bhisha Pitama of rural marketing. No, I'm saying I don't think there is any person, including Pradeep, who has spent 40 years in this business. He is the youngest in terms of age, but smartest in terms of his profession, having done what he did. I got this piece of paper because I have some numbers. And I now notice that some of the numbers that I want to state are variants with what has been shared by Rajan in his presentation. But directionally, I have no dispute. But if you look at it in smaller bits, there are some issues. But I think it's generally, I'm not necessarily going to fight with my dear friend on stage. It's a fact of life that rural marketing is rural markets are bigger than urban markets. Many of you know that we have a book called R.K. Swami Guide to Market Planning. And there is a method to understand the size of the rural market potential and urban market potential from that book. And I'm going to give you an aggregate number, which is index for urban market and index number for rural market, just to demonstrate to you that urban market is smaller than rural market. As per this book, rural MPV is 12109. Its index, as I told you, is just a number. It's not a, you can't put a dollar value on it or whatever. So 12109. And urban is 11089, which means the rural market is 10% more valuable for marketer than urban market. That's a simple first statement. But if you think that all products are doing as well, it's not true, because this market potential values, the 10% stuff is actually also is more than 10% because of the agricultural products and services that get sold only in that market. Okay, if you disaggregate it, if you look at it some of the categories I have numbers for, it'd be interesting to know that a category like biscuits, 41% gets sold in rural India. It's amazing. 41% is still a lot of, given the price at which biscuits sell, it's still an amazing number. Toilet soaps, 43%. It is the value gets sold in rural India. Washing powder, 46%. Packaged tea, 44%. Iodized salt, very heartening, 59%. I think that people understand the value of iodine and salt in rural India. So I'm saying only 41% gets consumed in urban India. Shampoo, 35%. Branded hair oil, 37%. But if you look at companies' growth, a company like Unilever, Hindustan Unilever, 45% of its sales come from rural India. Dabur, 40% of sales come from rural India. So if you look at categories, they're all about 40% and above. If you look at companies, the sales are also robust from rural India. If you look at a product like a two-wheeler, Hero Honda gets 60% of sales from rural India. TVS Motors will get 50% sales from rural India. So rural India is rocking, amazing, and unless you know how to tap into that potential, you will only be skirting the surface. And this book, I think, is a wonderful way to address that need. If you look at, we saw seeing the category size, we see some company size. If you look at the growth, you take a product like grouping like consumer durables. The rural growth for consumer durables is 25%, as against 7 to 10% of urban India. If you look at, going back to again consumer durables, ASSOCHAM has said, in next 3 years' time, the rural growth for consumer durables will be 40% per annum. That's going to be amazing run for people who are organized to reap that little market called rural India. In food products, noodles, you don't think noodles will be consumed in rural India. There is an amazing growth happening there. Twice the growth level of what is happening in urban India is happening in rural India for noodles, a product like noodles. Salted snacks, we don't think people will buy those, but that's 55% growth is happening on last 5 years in salted snack food in rural India. Branded oil, if you think that they're not brand conscious, you're wrong. Branded oil, 45% growth over last 3-4 years in rural India. So I think this book is therefore going to be a real handbook for real benefit for real marketers who need to tap into the real market, which is rural. And I think we should thank Rajan for bringing this to light. All of us, I have a business in this space. We do have some 10-12 crores of revenue in the space, but I've already given my this copy. He gave me one copy free, and I bought one copy from him. I've given to my boys to study it and say, more copies. Huh? Order more copies. So we're going to use this to understand and see how we can tap in this big potential that is there in India. So thank you, Rajan, for inviting me. Thank you, AdClub, for inviting me. Thank you, Murli, for all the kind words. So as I think Sheshadri, who took the resume, biodata, whatever from Lata and read out the full thing, I think. Anyway, it's been wonderful being here in AdClub, and if there's something that I can do to make AdClub a better place for all our practitioners to be in, I'll be happy to participate. Thank you very much.
Thank you so much, Mr. Swami, for your insights and for the offer on the knowledge and debate series from IAA. May I now request Mr. Karthik Murthy and Mr. K.R. Skandaraj to present mementos to the 3 guests of honor. Mr. Murli, Mr. Swami, please come. Yeah. Thank you, everybody. Just take a minute of your time to present the vote of thanks. I'd like to take this opportunity to thank Mr. R.V. Rajan for his wonderful presentation and for partnering with AdClub Madras to launch his new book. Many thanks to Mr. N. Murli for spending the evening with us and for releasing the book. I'd like to thank Mr. Srinivasan K. Swamy for his valuable time and for receiving the first copy of the book. The Hindu for their unstinted support over the years in sponsoring our Gyan series team meetings. Thanks also to Mr. Srinivasa Murthy of Productivity and Quality Publishing, the publishers of this book. Many thanks to our media friends for attending and for their coverage of this event. The hotel staff at the Savera for their meticulous arrangements, and the AV and sound engineers. Finally, a big thanks to you, members of the audience, ladies and gentlemen, for attending this lecture and the Chennai book launch. Please take part in our various events that we conduct through the year. If you are not already a member of the AdClub Madras, we encourage you to become a member immediately. Kindly contact Ms. Dorothy at the table at the back over there. Please visit our website, adclubmadras.com. Kindly look us up on Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, and Google+. You have been an awesome audience tonight. Good night.